Are we ready?
We're ready.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 142 of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, you've got me, John Kroll, and I'm joined by Gene,
Hi, y'all.
Jeff,
Hey, everybody.
Jody,
Hi, friends.
Lonnie,
Hey, everybody.
and we've got a very special guest with us tonight, Ire Gaines, joining Lonnie. So,
Hello,
welcome.
everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited. We're going to get to a pretty fun topic here tonight. But before we do that, we just wanted to ask everybody to go out, give us a 5-star rating, and give us a good review on Apple, on Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. I think Stitcher's gone. So, right? Yeah, that's a bummer. I know Jeff really liked it, so
I enjoyed
chased
Stitcher.
it out. Yeah. Okay, so if you could go do that for us and then join our Facebook group, Disney with the Ducks, and you can come have some fun conversations over there and talk about some cool trips and that type of thing. Today, what we're going to ask as a question to kind of get to know each other a little bit better is if you could be any sea creature, what sea creature would you be? All right, Ire, as the guest, would you like to go first?
Sure. I'll go first. I would like, and I know this is going to be a little different, but I would love to be a mermaid.
Okay, best of both worlds, right? Part fish,
Yeah.
part human.
Absolutely. I love the water. I love hanging out in the water. But when I'm ready and I'm tired, I'm ready to be all human again.
All right.
Not
But then you wouldn't be able to talk. Whenever you,
I would be different. I would be that one mermaid that could do it all.
okay. All right. If anybody would be that one, that would be you for sure.
Oh, I love you, Gene.
I mean, Ariel.
Love you too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Ariel traded her voice, obviously, at one point, but
Mhm.
is Lonnie worth trading your voice for, though? No, no.
It depends on the day.
Like Gene and Jeff didn't waste any time with saying going right to no. All right, Lonnie, what kind of sea creature are you gonna be?
Man, it's easy. I'll be the Kraken. I can sleep all day, and I only have to come out every now and then to fight Medusa and chase after Pegasus, all the good stuff. So, that's what I'm be, man. I'm gonna be a Kraken, a Titan.
So I would
All
be
right.
sacrificed to you?
You didn't want to get your voice from me, so I can't even hear you right now because you didn't give your voice for me.
Yeah, Lonnie, you probably could have gone with Merman.
A
You know?
Kraken.
Okay.
Can we call you Phil? You could be Phil the Kraken.
And look, even though it's not as good as the original, I don't want to be the old one. I want to be the newer version of the Kraken that popped out, the one that really came out. Liam Neeson came out and said, "Release the Kraken." That's the one I want to be, not the old one that was kind of like the claymation figure. I want the CGI figure. That's what I want to be. That Kraken.
Okay, my question remains.
But I'm gonna cover my eyes. I'm gonna cover my eyes when I fight Medusa because man, how are you talking? You didn't trade in your voice. How literally are you talking?
Wow. All right, Lonnie, we
gotta do something.
Gene's just laughing through this whole thing. I hope people watch this on YouTube and just see how much Gene's going to be smiling and laughing throughout this. All right, Jody, what kind of sea creature are you going to be?
I think I'm going to be a dolphin because dolphins can interact with humans somewhat. They're pretty playful and happy. I want to be happy and kind of leave all my crankiness and meanness aside. So I'm just going to be a dolphin. I'm going to jump through the water and eat all the fish and play all day. And just
Okay.
a dolphin.
So Caleb, my son, claims that dolphins are like the psychos of the sea. Like
Well,
He thinks that they
thanks,
just
Caleb.
bully all the other.
You are
sea
now my
creatures.
least favorite curl.
Yeah, you're gonna probably have to talk to him about that next time you see him because he's gonna be upset with you for picking the Dolphins.
No, sorry.
Man,
They're
All
very
right.
happy, and I need some more joy. So
They do seem, and I don't know. You
they're
just
always
get
smiling.
excited
Good
when you see
people
them
look like they're
jumping.
always smiling. They're
Yeah.
just happy creatures.
Sure. All right, Jeff, what do you got?
I'm torn between the Loch Ness Monster and the Megalodon, but both for kind of similar reasons. Nobody really knows if I'm there or not, but I can just kind of randomly show up every once in a while and keep people thinking. But one of those two.
And I mean, all you want is $2 if you Loch Ness Monster. For people who saw South Park, they'll catch it. They'll probably die laughing. What do you want from me, Loch Ness Monster? $2.
Just like Jeff. All right, Gene, what kind of sea creature are you gonna be?
I mean, I'm not a predator, but if I was, I'd be an apex predator, and so that's what I would be. I would be the
Catfish.
killer whale, the catfish. That's a good one. Yeah, a killer whale, or sometimes known as an orca. They can grow up to over 9 meters long, and they can weigh more than 5,400 pounds. They hunt in groups. They use teamwork. They communicate with each other to hunt down their prey. They've been known to attack other apex predators, including great white sharks, tiger sharks, sperm whales, lions, tigers, bears. Oh my! They have a brain similar to humans. They have a high sense of self-awareness, unlike Lonnie, and they have the ability to process information quickly. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
And Ahab can jump on your back.
Yeah.
Stab you and stuff like the movie. That'd be awesome.
That could happen too, yeah.
I mean, it was that or a narwhal,
Narwhals are pretty sweet.
Right?
Man, okay. So I'm gonna go with the manatee because I just want to be a big old fish, like just float, or mammal, whatever they are. I don't even know what they are, but they just float there and eat, right? And that's kind of like how I like to live my life. So I want to be a manatee. They're
Manatees
friendly.
are like warm water, and they can't be attacked or touched or anything. So you just got to do whatever you want.
Yeah, you just kind of lay around. They eat like lettuce.
It's a lot of lettuce you be eating all the time.
A lot of lettuce.
Lettuce.
See, you all thought that I was going to choose that because they eat lettuce, but no, John chose it.
Yeah.
You're too
Because you know
active for a
what? I
manatee,
just want to
baby.
exist, and I want to be left alone and just kind of hang out. So that's what I'm going to be, the manatee. All right. So we talked about sea creatures, and now we're going to see if the Gaineses saw any sea creatures on a trip they recently took. So Lonnie and Ire, why don't you tell us a little bit about the trip you went on? What cruise line did you go on?
Well, we thought long and hard about Carnival. It's my wife's favorite. They had a special 6-day for $200, but in the end, we went with Disney. So I had to convince her. So we did the Disney Magic.
And that's one of the new ships, right?
No, that's that is the old ship. That's actually the first one. That is the original Disney ship, right after the Big Red Boat. So yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So, but before you went on the Big Red Boat, you made a pit stop somewhere, right?
We did. We actually decided to go down on that Tuesday, and it's funny. We got down to Orlando, and my daughter texted us like, "Good luck on your cruise. Can't wait to hear all about it." And she was like, "Where are you guys?" And I was like, "Oh, we're in Orlando." She says, "I'm in Orlando too." So we ended up picking her up, and we spent a few hours with her.
Yes.
And hung out. We stayed at Bay Lake Tower.
Yes.
First time staying at Bay Lake Tower. We stayed there. So yeah, we went and hung out there for a little bit. Went to grab something to eat over at the Polynesian. And so yeah, had a good old time.
What were your thoughts on Bay Lake Tower if you've never stayed there before?
What do you think?
It could use a little help. The elevators were broken, and so we had to trek quite a distance.
Just one set. They were doing some construction, so there are two different sides. We had to go to the other side to catch it. So one set was I guess offline while they were doing some construction.
The room was nice. It was close. It was close to the monorail. A matter of going downstairs and crossing hall. But it was nice. The view was great. You could see.
And close to what? What did you do that night? a very close walk to.
Well, that night we actually at around 5:00, 5:30, we went to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So kind of get us in the Christmas mood. So yeah, so that night we caught the monorail and strolled into the Christmas party. It was awesome. Perfect weather. It's about what, 72 degrees.
Yeah.
What's
Nice
the name
breeze.
What's the name of that Christmas party again?
Mickey's Very Merry Christmas.
That's what I thought. I just I was testing you.
With the nightmare reindeer.
With the nightmare reindeer, right? So went in there. We just kind of relaxed. We took it easy. The first thing we did was got some popcorn.
Yes.
Did you wash your hands first?
We did. I washed my hands and used hand sanitizer consistently, and got some popcorn and just kind of just took it all in. It was not crowded that night at all, which was phenomenal, right? Especially for the temperatures and everything. It was literally very laid back. So had a blast.
You did ride Tron though.
Rode Tron. It's funny. We went to ride Tron, and we're walking up, and the girl said, "Oh, it's about a 50-minute wait." And I'm like, "I've been in Tron when it's a 50-minute wait. This is not 50 minutes. We're on Tron in like 20 minutes." So we walked straight in, got right to the scene. Strolled in, hopped on, and rode Tron. It was fantastic. Tron at night, is my favorite, right? So did that. Then kind of just walked around, got some snacks, took it all in, look at the Christmas lights, all that kind of good stuff. Went to the parade, and then I'm gonna tell you the one thing about the parade, it was just so much snow. All the snow. Yeah, I don't know if they got it on sale. It was Disney just came out and gave us so much. In fact, it got in my nose. I told my wife, I said, I can't breathe. It's too much snow. And the guy next to me, we looked at each other and caught eyes. And he said, he literally went, he said, "It's just so much." He just said, so much.
Wait, was this a good thing though or a bad thing?
It was like, and he had it like on his beard. He was like, "It's so much."
Yeah. Doesn't that add to the magic when you look over and see somebody with snow in their beard, just like you would be in Ohio or Detroit?
That's what Disney did. It's like, let them have it. It's like, sir, what it probably was, they were probably like sitting there and had the average snow, and then it was like, give them the bonus plan, and he hit the button, and more snow came.
And the blower was right over our head.
That's another, and it was at one point I was like,
blizzard.
Yeah, it literally was.
Blizzard.
And I looked at Ire and I was like, "You got snowball in your hair."
Snow on my glasses.
It was just it had snowball over my bag I was carrying. It was like I was like, it's just so much.
Yeah. So Lonnie, how many Mickey bars did you consume during the party?
I opted for popcorn. I think I had 4 buckets of popcorn.
That's a
popcorn.
Pretty solid amount of popcorn.
And we had we had maybe 8 or 9. Well, I had 8 or 9. My wife didn't. Cookies.
Yes.
And I had about 4 cups of apple cider.
Yes.
And I had the hot chocolate. Which, let me just tell you something. The hot chocolate wasn't watered down. It was like they melted chocolate.
Really good.
It was really good. So
I heard that.
I was on an eating frenzy on this one.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. And the hot chocolate is amazing, but so is the cider. That's I think, that's underrated. It's a very good fall winter drink.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had so many cookies. I was double fisting. I had a cookie in this hand and a popcorn in this hand. I was like, I was like a manager. I was like a manager.
Yeah. See,
I was a manager of the park.
Because it's the best sea creature. Yeah. Okay, so did you have a favorite part of the parade? I know you said you watched the parade. Was there one part that you just really loved?
The reindeer?
The reindeer were pretty cool, right? You say which one? One of them was coming right at me doing this, like, where we were standing, because we had really good. And that's another thing. Since it wasn't too packed, we didn't have to stand up like some people had got there early and kind of, stashed the spot. We just walked right behind them. They were sitting down, so we were right there. So we saw everything.
It's pretty open on Main Street.
Yeah, it was pretty open on Main Street. And then, my favorite part probably was Santa. Santa coming. It was, which is the last floor.
But Santa came with more snow.
He did. They busted out the snow for Santa too. I was like, "What is the snow coming from?" We had 3 blizzards. 3 blizzards.
You know,
And
the
right
man
before
lives at
he
the
came,
North,
there was, release the Kraken of the snow.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
but they got to
Snow
keep him
freezer.
comfortable. He's Santa, you know?
Well, it had so much snow, man. They were actually sweeping like
Some of it up.
up the main street, like kind of like brushing it in so it wouldn't sit there and make the street slippery.
They
That's
had
how
to
much
shovel
snow.
it.
You
First time
broom,
someone's
you
had to
had a
shovel
broom.
snow in Florida. Huh. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Now,
But
after
I'm gonna tell you what we really like though, John, the fireworks.
Yes,
Yes,
I was going to ask
I
about.
like the Halloween party more, but I like the fireworks more
Better.
for the for the Christmas party.
So
the
how
fireworks-
did they do the normal Happily Ever After show, or did they scrap that completely and it's a whole new show for the party?
Yeah, it was a whole new show
Yeah.
for the party.
Okay.
I mean, that castle was looking beautiful, man. They had presents popping up. They were doing all kind of things. Fireworks show was fantastic.
Yeah. They made the castle look like it was wrapped in gift paper and different types of backgrounds to it, and kind of coordinated it with the fireworks, and it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Now, was the music all Christmas music?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Once upon a
I really-
isn't that the song they sing at the parade or something? Once upon a I don't even know it. Never mind. Forget it.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
You can keep singing though, Jody.
No, it's okay. I just once it gets in my
I'm waiting for my, keep going, Jody. I want to hear the rest of it. See if I
I'll
remember.
be singing it the rest of the night, so I'll just stop.
It's not as catchy as "Boo to You," but it's
They didn't play that.
no. I mean, what I'm saying is, I like "Boo to You" because I like how that one is. Boo to You.
Talking about the Grinch. What?
Okay.
All right. So you guys spent just the one day at Disney parks before.
Oh, yeah. That's just
Okay.
it. So went down on Tuesday, did that. We rented a car, so made for good access for us. The next morning, we had a later flight, right? So we flew out around 1 o'clock was our
Yes.
thing. So we got to the airport about 11:30. Took our time, brought the car back. Grabbed some breakfast on the way outside the park, and then headed to San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is where we kind of spent 2 nights. 2 nights before our cruise.
So this is a little bit different than I think when most people think about Disney Cruise Line. They're like, oh, I'm just going to go down to Port Canaveral. I'll go to Disney. I'll just drive down, an hour, if even that, and catch a ship from Port Canaveral. This is not what you did. You guys went to Disney, got on a plane, flew to Puerto Rico to get on your ship. So it's a little bit of a different cruise. So what was the starting point of your cruise, and what was the ending point of your cruise?
So we started in San Juan, and we boarded on that Friday, and we ended in Galveston. It was when did we get out? Thursday. The following Thursday. So we were on a boat for 6 days. Okay, so we started in San Juan, Old San Juan, and we ended in Galveston, Texas.
Okay.
So it's a point-to-point cruise. We chose this one because, number one, we wanted one with a couple of sea days for us to relax, and also we wanted to go to Lighthouse Point. That was our, main. Okay, that was our main reason, I think. Relaxing, go to Lighthouse Point and Castaway Cay. So it only did Disney Islands, and we had 3 total sea days, which was pretty cool.
That is really cool. So Lighthouse Point is the new one, but it also went to Castaway Cay, which you've been to several times before, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So if you compare the two, if you had to pick a cruise in the future with just one or the other, which one did you like better?
Castaway Cay.
Really?
Wow,
Yes.
the
Okay.
original.
Yes. Yes. It's nicer. It's more organized. It's more put together. The one thing about the new island is, and this is, no discredit to Disney by any means, the weather was not the greatest. And I know they can't control that. So that was one thing. And the waves, the sea was really, really kind of rough. And again, they don't have control of that. One thing about Lookout Cay is it is in a portion of the island where you have other things outside of Disney. And the locals are allowed to come into the park. and have access to all the activities and the things that are going on as long as there is a ship, a Disney cruise line that is docked. There's no Disney cruise line, then the park is typically closed to the locals. They can participate in all things, all the extracurricular activities, including the beach. They can even eat the food that's served to those who are on the ship that are visiting the island for the day. So there's a lot of different things that they can do. But it didn't seem like it was all put together. It was just it's a little bare.
Yeah. So I'll piggyback on that. Because when we got to the island, and this is now let's think the island is beautiful, right? It is. And I think since it's so brand new, they're still putting stuff in. So a lot of plantings haven't grown up yet. That's going to change the dynamics of it as well. Of course, you hear that famous long walk that everybody talks about, because they had to build it out so that you can dock a ship there and don't mess up the indigenous reef that's there, right? So you have to walk a very long distance. Not bad at all. I don't think that, in fact, the walk, I don't know why people complained about it, because
it's great.
I think it's a great walk because the water is just so pretty and blue, and you're looking at the reefs and you're seeing the fish and all that kind of stuff. I think once it grows out a little bit, I think it'll be good. I love the cultural aspect of it. There is a video we took that they do a rush, which is the parade that they have, right? Yeah. So they actually had those twice. I think they did it. Yeah. Man, I'm gonna tell you, Mickey was getting down, Minnie was getting down. They were rocking and rolling. I have to send you guys the video. It was awesome.
Mickey danced to 2 and 4.
Mickey was breaking out like new moves. Like Mickey just came out the club and jumped in there and started doing that. That was cool. The food was actually really, really good.
It was.
Food is better there than Castaway Cay.
What about the flies?
I'm sorry, Joey.
What about the flies? Because they had a big fly problem at the beginning of
the
the
had no flies at all.
But it was super windy.
Yeah. So maybe the flies
didn't have any issues with that.
I mean, but there are 2 big spots. There's to get food, and then a bunch of places to eat. So it's a little bit better. I think the Castaway Cay with that, because the food, how they dish it out, is a lot better. And we asked because it's like, man, that's a lot of people. And the thing about the Magic, it's being the first ship, it's small, right? It's on the Wonder class side, right? So you don't have a lot of people. You start seeing a lot of the same people on the Magic, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing these people. And I was talking to somebody, and I said, well, why do they have on, these little lanyard things and we don't? And then one of the locals said, locals are allowed to come, like my wife said, and there's 2 ways you can enter, right? You can just enter by, if you want to just take part of the activities, or you can get another band and you can eat and do everything else you want to do as well. And she says, usually, and she told us this, she said, it'll be packed. Like on the weekend, if a ship's there, it's going to be really packed because a lot of locals come in. But because the weather was kind of overcast, and the waves were pretty, they kept yelling at people to get out the water because they would go a little bit too far. And you see the waves will come and knock them over. So the lifeguards kept yelling, get out, don't go that far, don't go that far, don't go that far. But they said it in their accent, Bahamian accent, get out the water, man, something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. No, I'm not. Did I lose
you
all our?
Even hear because they're not using your technical megaphone.
Yeah, they're using
that you press and say, "Hey, get out of the water."
They're doing like the cheerleader thing. You know how cheerleaders be screaming at that little cone? He was like, "Get out the water, man! Get got to drown." That's what they're saying, and so they did all that. But look, in my mind, that's what he was saying. I don't know what you're still talking. That's what he was saying. So yeah, but there you go. So I'll back up, John. Boarding is a little different in San Juan, right? And so we stayed there for 2 nights before.
Okay, hold on. So, for clarity purposes, you got on the ship on Friday, November 15th?
Yes. Now
Okay.
we got to San Juan on that Wednesday. So we hung out in old San Juan for 2 days. And it's the crazy thing where we stayed was the Hotel Rumba. That night it was very quiet. The morning, and we were facing the water, right? That morning I opened up the blinds and there were 4 cruise ships there, not ours, but 4 other ships that's parked right outside our room. So it was just, it went from nobody there to just boom, it was packed where we were, which was awesome because they had all kind of stuff right outside. You know how they set up, Jody, when you go, if you've stopped in San Juan, how they set up all the things outside on that little boardwalk kind of thing. So all that was there. All
It's
the
one of
vendors,
my,
all that kind of stuff, the food, everything was there. So it
it's
was
one of my
it
favorite
was-
ports. I actually wish we would have had like more time there. I really loved being in port there. I enjoyed everything about it. So had a great experience there.
So
I would
I would
definitely-
recommend that hotel if you're going to San Juan and you want to, and you're going out on a Disney cruise. So very good hotel to go to.
And if you want to go eat, go to Cortez Chocolat.
Went there. That was awesome. Everything on the menu has chocolate on it.
Yum. I'm in.
Amazing chocolate.
I'm sold.
Even the ketchup has chocolate, and the hamburger got chocolate in it. You can't really taste the chocolate, but it's just, it's there. That's a little flavoring. Really, really good place to eat. Very cool.
Sounds really interesting.
Okay, so you board the ship on Friday the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday was a sea day?
Yes.
Okay. Do anything spectacular that day on the ship?
Well, allow me to check the scrolls.
Well, let me say this. Before when we were in the process of boarding, we've done a few cruises with Disney, and we've always embarked in Port Canaveral. Well, this was our first time embarking in San Juan, and it was a little different. It seems like the staff and crew in Port Canaveral are a little more organized and a little more structured on how you board. And when we finally there are lines that you have to go in that are designated by time and what time you are actually supposed to board the ship. They couldn't figure out what line we were supposed to go into. Now they worked there, but they couldn't figure out what line we were going in. And so that was one thing that was different. The process of getting on, say, for example, we've done, what's the last one we did last year?
The fantasy.
We did the fantasy last year. Last year, when you're boarding the ship, there's this huge reception. They announce your family name. There's a lot of crew that's out there welcoming you on the ship. When we boarded this time, might have been 3.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 3 crew people.
And unlike, when you go to Port Canaveral and you stay on Disney property, that morning you put your bags out. You don't see them again until you hit the room, right? Because we had to Uber over to the airport. Uber over to the port, because even though we were right where this is the crazy thing. The 4 ships that were there when I woke up that morning, that's where Disney parks when they just go there. But it's not where they depart from. So it's one of the port places. So that's where Disney would actually park when you go to San Juan. So that's where I was, Jody, when you went there. But we had to go over to where they actually take off at. And unlike Port Canaveral, when it's a dedicated Disney site, they throw up a couple of flags. And the line we were in, and you have to have your own luggage, right? So you have to drag your luggage on the ship. And once you get to the ship, they take your luggage. And when we got in line, I asked the guy when we first got up there, I was like, is this the line I'm supposed to be in? Because the guy up front looked like he didn't really know. And we had a 12:15 board time. And he's like, yes, that's it. And then so they had 4 big lines. And another couple came right here. And I was like, hey man, what time is your board time? And he said, 12:15. I was like, okay, so I'm 12:15, you're 12:15, but I'm in another line. And that guy was like, yeah, you're in the 12:30 line. He said, come get in front of me. So we went around and the guy was like, oh yeah, that's the right line. I'm like, yeah, now what they did do, which was really good. Our board time was 12:15. We got on that ship at 11:50. I mean, they were rolling people through there. So imagine that, right? So you go through, they'll have you in this other room. you'll go through to a huge warehouse, and then they had big lines, and you just got in line and went straight on the ship. And so that was actually pretty cool. So we did that. We boarded, went to Cabanas, and then went to the sail away party. And our luggage was already, I mean, it got there faster than it did on the Fantasy. I guess maybe fewer rooms, right? So our luggage was already there. We just, kind of just hung out that night. What was the first night? Luminaires was dinner. So freshened up, relaxed for a little bit, went to Luminaires for dinner. So great first night.
Great. Mm-hmm. How was your team, your dining team?
JoJo was
and David.
JoJo and David was really good.
They were really good.
They were really good. So yeah. And for people that don't know, Disney does rotational dining. So you hit all the restaurants. Your serving team follows you to all the restaurants. So we had JoJo and David the whole time, except one night when one of the servers were sick. So David had to take over another table. And then we got another person. She came from Palo to help out. So we had her.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So first night, Luminaires, food was great.
So was this your first time on the classic ship, Magic or Wonder?
It was my first time there, our first time on there.
Okay, so what did you think? So for, again, Disney Cruise Line, everybody. So there's the two classic ships. The very first one, the Magic and the Wonder, they're sister ships. Then the next fleet size up are the Fantasy and the Dream, and now there's the whole new fleet, which is the Wish, Destiny, and Treasure. So that's kind of the series that they go in. So the Magic is the first. So this is the very first one. So what did you think about it coming from the larger ships, going on the Magic?
It's funny. I was interviewed by a YouTube personality, right? I think that's what you would call them. They were filming on the ship, and he asked that same question. And I said, the first 2 days, I was like, I missed the Fantasy. But the longer you're on the Magic, the more I liked it. Yeah. And the reason why is because it's a smaller ship, easier to navigate. Love the classic design of it, right? It's not as big. It's you can get from, and Jody, you're walking across that Fantasy of the Dream. You're here, you're there, you're all over the place. Mm-hmm. We kind of learned the layout of this ship in 2 days, so we can just be like, oh yeah, we know where we're going. And we're in the forward. We can be from the forward to the aft 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And like I said, you start to see the same people all the time. You develop relationships. We met people that we saw in San Juan that they were staying at our same hotel. Then 2 nights before, so they did the same thing we did. And I do recommend everybody do this. And I'm gonna give Jody a plug for this because previously to Disney cruises, we just went on a cruise. Well, Jody had mentioned to me cruise before this one, hey, why don't you join the Facebook group for that cruise? And I was like, yeah, okay. So we joined it. This one was extremely active because it was such a small cruise line. So I was able to pick up tastings and stuff like that people were dropping because everybody kind of knew each other. And we would be, for instance, we were actually like shopping, my wife's favorite hobby. And a lady came up to us and she was like, hey, I saw y'all on the Facebook group. Y'all went to the Christmas party. How was it? And there are a lot of diamond or platinum cruise members, I should say, on that cruise, which was crazy. That's why it was so hard to get stuff like Palo reservations, because when I say it was a bunch of them, there was a bunch of platinum lanyards running around there. People that's been on and a lot of people did back to back on that cruise. Yeah. But they were the nicest people. I mean, they were like, everybody was coming up, we met maybe 4 couples just from the group on Facebook that we ended up just really talking to, plus the people and it's funny, we requested and we got a personal table, right? So it was just me and my wife at a table 44. The people next to us at table 42, 43, was it? 42 was on this side. Okay, so we ended up hanging out with them the whole time. So even though our tables were separate, somebody was like, y'all should just put your table together. They were the nicest people. And to the point that now, we're supposed to kind of hang out for Marathon Week and they're going to come in.
Can I interject here?
Yeah.
So one of the bigger things why we requested a individual tables last year when we went to cruise, we didn't know that we were at a group table. And so the very first night we go and we show up for dinner, we are in between two couples. And we're like, is this our table? And I mean, it was such tight quarters. We were really close to these people in proximity. And Lonnie just kept giving me these looks. And of course, because I know him, I'm like, oh God.
Well, at one point they were grabbing us like, oh, that's my drink. That's how close we were. Right. I mean, like literally on that. And this is on the fantasy. So, so we said we wanted a table by ourselves and we got it.
But what happened once we got the individual table, we sat next to two couples that were sharing a 6-person table. And we just established such great communication with them that we just kept turning over to their table and just talking back and forth. And I was like, we really probably should have done a 6-person table instead.
But it'd be good to have the extra room. They had the extra room. And literally, we were just kind of talking to ourselves, and they actually engaged us. And they were, I mean, literally, they were great. These 2 great couples. Yeah. And so we, we looked forward to kind of hanging out with them, and that's what we did. And we run into them all the time on the ship, and it was pretty good, really good. I like that. I like that part of it. So yeah,
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first day was a sea day. Relax. Yep. Did you do any tastings? Anything spectacular that day?
Yes. See, what did we do that day?
I guess
technically. I should say this as well. We did go get a Apollo reservation. Yes. So we were able to get one we got on the first day. That was actually pretty cool. Saturday, we had a mojito tasting. And we had dinner at Animator's Palace. Right. So that was pretty cool as well. Their animators is completely different as compared to the one in the fantasy and the dream.
Okay. So unpopular opinion, but I like the smaller ship's animator palettes better than the bigger ship.
We do as well.
Actually, I felt like it was a little more techie
and classy.
Yeah,
it was white and black. Everything was, because you've been on there. So yeah, we like that one better as well.
It was more kid friendly to me. There were much bigger monitors for you to be able to see, and they just put the monitors around the entire restaurant. So no matter where you were sitting, there were at least 4 or 5 monitors that you could see without having to turn your head or look behind you. It was much more organized in that regard.
And at the end of the dinner, they did the little show, and then Sorcerer Mickey came out, and then and he did the dance around the tables, and then all the crew made this big line, and they all kind of bowed. It was really good. So did that. Really enjoyed Animators. The food was good there as well. Service was good. JoJo did a phenomenal job, and David. And then we went to Twice Charmed. The Broadway show is a unique take on Cinderella. I think it's unique to that ship. So basically, it was what if Cinderella wasn't chosen and one of the sisters were chosen. In other words, they had a plan to steal a slipper and break the slipper, and they had an evil fairy godfather to help out. So it was really a cool play. And Disney has Broadway caliber shows, right? This one was really good, great singing. It was phenomenal. So we did that, really enjoyed that as well. And after that, we went to Phantoms and we did the Seriously game show. So
which is what we played.
We played. So we were one of the 5.
And that's where you lift the thing, the colors, right? So that's, gentlemen, that's the game that I had
on an episode. Yeah.
Yes. But this time we raised the shoe. I had my wife's shoe and my shoe, and she had one, and we had to raise the shoe instead of the colors. So we played that. We were one of the 5 couples. Look, we were robbed. We missed one that, they had a brother, they had 2 sisters that were playing. I don't know if they had some kind of link they were doing. They probably was hitting each other's heel or something. I don't know. We missed one day one, everybody was like, y'all were robbed. I was like, I know. But you know.
But I'm sure there was a couple of couples that probably left that show a little perturbed with one another.
and it had a couple from New Orleans. Now they were cool. They were in our mojito tasting. She gave out earrings to people. They were that's another thing about this cruise. It was so small. They were giving out gifts. Like people bought a bunch of gifts on board. She had these Mickey churro earrings that she gave my wife that they made. Just saying, hey, you know, glad to be on the cruise. Hope you enjoy this gift. I mean, people were just giving gifts. And I'm like, just thank you. You know. So yeah. So did seriously, and we went hung out on the deck for a little bit. By that time it was after 11, and we called it a night. So that was our Saturday sea day.
Sweet, good sea day.
Yeah, that sounds really fun, actually. Man.
Yeah.
So now
Sunday,
the game that I was trying to play though with all of you, you saw it live in action. You know.
Yes, we saw it live in action. You know, with Gus as our host. Sunday, Lighthouse Point, right? So that was pretty cool. I think we talked about that already. We had dinner at Rapunzel's that night. It was Rapunzel's birthday celebration. So
wait, Lonnie, is the whole restaurant is themed after Rapunzel or Tangled?
Yes.
Very much. When I say very much so, very much so. I mean, it's literally just like the movie.
Characters are always, I mean, they're constantly walking through, they're coming to your table, they're introducing themselves. Rapunzel and who's the
Flynn Rider, and then they had the two like mercenaries. They were there, and I mean, they kept coming to the table. We got pictures with Rapunzel and with those guys, right? Yeah. So you know, got the guy with the hook, the guy with the mittens. So they all came to the table. Once again, food was really good there. And then we went to a DVC.
May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So that night do they do like a stage show for Rapunzel, or do the characters just walk? Okay. And did you either once or twice on your cruise?
We did everything twice.
Okay. So was it different the second time, or?
It was. Yes. They didn't do a stage show the second time.
Okay. All right. Just curious. So on the Wonder, which is the other smaller class ship, it's Tiana's, and one night there's a band, and the next night like a Tiana comes out. So yeah, just curious how they handled that. So
well, the second time we were in Rapunzel, there was this. Remember the little three young ladies that were playing with the.
Yeah, they were playing the instruments.
Yeah,
and they were really good.
Walking around, playing and singing, and that was the second time we were.
And then Rapunzel came back over. She was like, "Hey, good to see you guys again." And then Flynn came over and said, "Hey, you know, thanks for coming back to the you know, our celebration kind of thing." And then the guys came along, and the guy said, "Hey, make your wife eat the cake, the chocolate cake. You know, trust me, she'll get randy." That's what he said. I was like, "Really? I'll take 2 of those cakes." Ducks After Dark. So yeah, but that was the second time. But anyway, Lighthouse Point. Look, after Rapunzel's birthday celebration, they had a DVC appreciation event. Now this was cool because we went to the first one, Jody, on the first day, the regular DVC cruiserweight party, but they actually have an event where it was up at Cove Cafe.
Yes, like, I was telling you, they did that on ours too. That's the bomb.
That's the bomb because we went upstairs and it was like, look, order whatever you want. We're not trying to sell anything. They gave us more gifts. We just want to tell you guys thank you. And we sat up there and we drank some coffee and some hung out with the DVC people, and hung out with the couples that were next to us at our table. All of them were DVC members, right? And one of the couples, which I really enjoyed, I enjoyed both of them. One lives in California, 20 minutes from the park, grew up going to the park. The other couple just moved to Orlando a couple of months ago for the parks.
Wow.
So they're big Disney. Both of them are big Disney fans, right? So yeah, talking to them, they've been to every Disney park. So I'm like, I said, well, they said, you ever been to Shanghai? I was like, no, but my friend John's been to Shanghai. So I gave you some street cred, John.
Nice. Yeah. Street cred in the Disney community can be hard to come by. So I appreciate it.
You're right, man. You're right. So yeah. So that was it for Sunday.
Nice.
Monday, Castaway Key Day.
Yes.
Oh, so it was Lighthouse and Castaway 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh. So all those people who did not apply sunscreen were extra lobstery.
Well, it was
Lighthouse
very
was very
shady.
cloudy.
Yeah, so they didn't get.
Yeah.
But Castaway Key was sunny and bright.
Yes.
So we got off the ship a little late because we went back to Cabanas, and then we went do the 5K, the Castaway Key 5K, and then we went to Serenity Bay, hung out there for a while, had lunch.
So some interesting things.
Yep, did that, and then went back to the ship and had another tasting.
Yeah.
Did we have you have a tasting?
Yeah.
Yes, we did have a tasting.
We had a mixology tasting.
You did a lot of tasting, didn't you? No,
I didn't book them. You did.
that wasn't on Castaway Key then. Oh, you know
Yes,
what it
it
was?
was.
It was tequila on that day.
Oh.
Aha,
tequila tasting?
tequila tasting that day.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and
No
then
wonder you don't remember it.
No, actually, it was great. It was great. I walked away from the table with my head high. I knew where I was. Don't be frowning at me, because
I didn't frown at you. So that abuse.
it was really good. Because now I discovered, I know what kind of tequila that does not give you a headache. And then I learned some very interesting things about tequila, especially with the one with the worm. And everybody talks about the worm. You got to have the worm.
Yeah, the guy was very knowledgeable. So
Worm is nonsense.
so
Education too.
man, look, we just roll with that.
Not just debauchery with the devil's nectar, but education as well.
Exactly.
Gene. So we're sitting, it's only one person on the ship that does all of the tastings. It doesn't matter what kind of tasting you're having, whether you're doing beer, champagne, tequila, whatever.
We didn't do all those.
He's the one person that does it. So as we're in the second, maybe the third tasting on a different day,
Wasn't me.
Lonnie looks over to me and says, I don't know what he's saying.
He had a strong accent, but he was really good.
He was really good.
But I do remember he kept coming to our table and calling us family. Really good guy. Really good guy. So
he
yeah.
was Indian, and he was such a nice guy. And Lonnie couldn't, his dialect was so strong. Lonnie just kept looking at me as if to say, can you please interpret for me?
And you're going to a wedding next in 3 months.
I don't want to get canceled. I didn't say it in a bad way. I just said I couldn't understand certain things. But guess what, Jody? That night was pirate night, and they gave us different bandanas. There are new bandanas, bigger bandanas with a different design on them. So there you go.
Didn't know that.
We got to do better. When you go on a cruise, and I told this to Lonnie, whenever we take another cruise, we've got to do better with our, not that we're looking like,
People did it up. I think we
homeless.
might have been the only people that didn't dress like pirates. When I say people did it up, I guess because it's a cruise that a lot of people been on before, a lot of platinum members and all that kind of stuff. Man, they had people dressed up to the nines.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
The only thing I could say that I had that was a match was the bandana and the black outfit. That was it.
And me, I just put my bandana on and started throwing up gang signs.
Tim wears the hair. He gets the bandana. He wears the dreadlock hair, and he's got the hat. And yeah.
I did say R a lot, so I did.
Well,
do
that's
that.
good.
R's.
That counts.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was it for that day. Pirate show was pretty good, all that kind of stuff. So that Tuesday was a sea day. We got up. Guess what we did, Jody? Black Panther picks first.
Awesome.
So did that.
Yep.
Then we went to.
When did you go to Palo?
Went to Palo.
Mm-hmm.
Then went to Palo. Nice 2.5 hour meal at Palo, which was outstanding.
Okay, so for a lot of us, we haven't been on Disney Cruise Line before. Palo is like a higher end restaurant that you have to pay for separately, right?
Yes, sir.
So could you walk us through just a little bit about what that experience is like? Because I mean, as someone who's never been on Disney Cruise, I hear about it a lot and I want to know more. So what do you think?
Well, when we first boarded, we had to try and get a reservation because, as Lina mentioned earlier, we couldn't book it before we boarded. So we were able to get a brunch schedule. So we made the reservations, and it is typically on the upper level of the ship,
10th floor.
10th floor, and there's not a whole lot of activity on that floor with the exception of the restaurant. You go in, and they do have a dress code when you have a reservation. They try to keep it, I'll say business casual to dressy,
But not this time though. People had shorts on. Remember, I said he shouldn't have those shorts on. But they had people who had shorts on in this one.
Well, before it's
before it's the dress code, but now I think they kind of really went lax on that dress code.
But it's great. You're received at the reception desk, and they escort you to your table. Your server comes up, and they give you the menu of everything that is served. Our server was from Portugal, and she gave us all the explanations of why the restaurant is called Palo, because the ships are built in Venice.
Well, the first two, the Magic and the Wonder, were built in Venice before they moved them.
And because they are there, a restaurant in Venice is called Palo. And so because of where the ships are designed and built, they decided to implement the restaurant on each ship.
Oh, that's a really cool backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they have, and she said, the poles in the restaurant represent the gondolas, the colors for the thing. And I mean, she went through the whole thing. Now, John, the food part, right?
Yes.
Palo food is just on another level. So they give you the menu, and then basically you can order. It's basically like a buffet, but it's cooked to order, and it's brought to your table. So you can order anything you want. So you have the whole, we went to brunch, and I highly recommend brunch. But you have, of course, the eggs and all that kind of stuff. We started with the flatbread. Then they come around and they'll give you.
Go back. They start with what they actually call starters, and they are.
They got a basket of different kind of muffins,
breads. So those are your starters. You can either have pastry starters, or you can have the different type of breads.
Best croissant I ever had.
Then you can go into more of what I would call a delicatessen type starter, where you can have marinated shrimp, you can have mussels, you can have crabs, you can have salmon, some type of, you can have calamari. All of that is a part of the starter, and they come in portions of 3 of each. So it's already designed which 3 will be paired together, and you just select which of the pairings you want. And that in the bread is a part of the starter.
So basically, my breakfast at the Spring Hill Suites when I'm working, that's what you got for starter. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Exactly.
But higher end.
Yeah,
I'm saying higher end, but I'm just saying you got a continental breakfast, like what for some people it's just that's breakfast. That's just the beginning. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
That's just the start.
Yeah, and because then we rolled to flatbreads.
But wait, so with the Palo, do you pay for each thing individually, or
Not
it's
for
just
brunch.
one? Okay,
One fee,
one set price.
One fee, and you can order any and everything multiple times if you want to.
You need stretchy pants.
My kind of restaurant.
You need a lot of stretchy pants.
You don't need to eat the night before.
But we did, because I was like, I'm eating everything. I mean, we had the flatbread. Then we did the
waffle.
My wife had the Mickey waffle with fresh strawberries and stuff like that. Then I had the tomato basil soup, which was great. She had the celery soup. She was like,
It's amazing because what you would think in terms of how a meal is prepared, and when they talk about a meal in Venice is usually 7 courses. This meal is 7 courses, literally. It is 7 courses, and what you would think would be a starter is somewhere in the middle. So you have the option of the breads first, what I would call fresh seafood as a starter. Then you can go into what Jean would call continental breakfast. That's where you start in terms of your heavier foods. You can get, it's not like bacon, eggs, and sausage and hash browns. It's not that. You can have waffles, you can have French toast, you can have pancakes, but you can also have a specific type of omelet. That's, there's a vegetarian menu, there's a gluten-free side. So you can have things like that. And then once you progress out of that, you will go into your soups. So your soup will come up, tomato, basil, or celery. Once you've completed that, then you go into your flatbreads or your actually burgers and sandwiches as a part of that. So yeah, we're just like dabbling all of this. However, they pace the serving. So you have timing to really kind of get your bearings about yourself when you're eating. So they're not just bringing food. You have at least 15 minutes to absorb whatever you're going to absorb at the course you're in. And then they pause, probably to give you opportunity to digest and receive your next course better. And then ultimately, at the end of the meal, you have your main entree, which can be either steak, it can be the famous lasagna. We had the lasagna and the chicken parmesan, which was phenomenal. But by the time you eat all of that, they still encourage you to have dessert. And by that time, you're just like, I can't move. I can't move. And so they bring out this dessert menu and they say, well, what would you like? And I'm like, nothing. And it's like, you have to have something. So a lady and her husband who were doing a back-to-back made some suggestions for us because, of course, chicken parm and lasagna can be very heavy. We just wanted something that was palate cleansing. And so of course, they have both sides. You have the really heavy desserts, and then you have the very light, refreshing desserts as well. Mimosas flow, but I'm not a mimosa person. So no matter what course of the meal you're on, they're serving it up. And by the time we finished, I think we rolled each other out of there.
This sounds like my kind of place.
It's really nice. It's really nice. It's personal because they're very attentive to you when they're serving you.
That sounds awesome.
Adult only, so it's a more elevated, quiet atmosphere, and yeah.
And it becomes way more budget friendly if you're traveling with your kids. So then you can leave them in the room.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
She said,
I'm guessing you took a long nap after that.
Yeah.
How'd you guess, Jody?
Been there, done that. So
Yeah.
We ended up leaving the restaurant, walking the ship just a little bit to let some of that food digest a bit. As my husband would say, I don't want to get the meat sweats. And so kind of relaxed the rest of the day. I mean, it was kind of hard not to. It was a great experience.
Yeah. And that night, we went to the Tangled stage show. So there's another play, it's Tangled. That's that night as well. So we did that.
It's a musical.
It's a musical. All of them are musicals. So we did Tangled. It was really good. Yeah. So that was good. And then we went to another game called Intuition. We didn't join for that one. We just wanted to sit down. And then we went to a magic show.
Oh.
And this magician man was outstanding.
Excellent.
Eric Jones is his name. You follow him on Instagram. He's been on all these different, he food pin and teller. He's been through all these things. So he was there. He did a show for about an hour. Man, that guy was really, really good. So did that and then and called it a night.
That's a big day.
That's a big day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So let me wrap this up because we're going long. Wednesday, Cabanas, because what happens on longer cruises, Jody?
Mickey Churro Waffles.
Mickey Churro Waffles. Mickey Churro Waffles. That's
the
all I'm gonna say.
best thing. And John, I found out they can make them gluten-free.
Ooh.
I,
You guys
I
are
saw
really
the-
like, you
Mickey
guys really talk
churro
up
waffles.
Disney Cruise Line. I need to get on one of these.
I know.
Mickey churro waffles. They will change your life.
They will.
I mean, Mickey waffles and churros separately are two of my favorite things ever.
Mhm.
You put those together, it might, yeah, I can see why it's the greatest food ever made.
Some
And
mad
it's
science.
like-
So my wife's like, I don't know why there's a line up there. They said they're waiting to come up. And I was like, well, I'm going to wait in that line. And I got some. And next thing you know, she's like, she's taking an ear. She's taking another ear. I got to go back in line and give me another one. So we did that. And then for the first time ever, we went to bingo.
Bingo?
was
Like the dot things and
Mhm.
wow.
Went bingo, man. Bingo was pretty cool.
But on
Bingo
this one,
is-
you don't have to do anything. The machine does everything for you.
You can
Okay.
get the cards, but we opted for the
Yeah.
iPad that did it all for you. So we just had to sit back there and watch our numbers pop up on the screen. And I'm like, we stood up a couple. You stand up when you have one number left, and we got close a couple of times, but didn't get it.
Landon won bingo one time on our trip, our cruise out of Galveston. He won bingo. So
Man, it was so much fun. So
Yeah.
much fun. So I said,
is
the
fun.
thing is, we're gonna have to do next time we go. We're gonna have to do bingo maybe every day.
yeah, it's good.
Grab some lunch at Cabanas. Relaxed a little bit after that. My wife went to a mixology class. I just went with her. So did that, and then went to dinner once again at Rapunzel's.
That's
Next
another good
morning,
day.
boarded, got off the ship, and that was it. Saddest day ever.
And you got off the ship in Galveston. So you
Got off
boarded
in
the ship in Puerto Rico and you got off in Texas.
Got off in Texas.
Wow.
Mhm.
Sounds like an awesome trip.
It was, man.
great.
Very, very relaxing. Is what the service what you can expect from Disney. And like I said, I was going somewhere with this, and I kind of lost my train of thought. They had a podcaster, a YouTuber on the cruise, and he asked me while he was filming, he was like, "What do you think about this ship?" And I told him, I said, "Man, when I got on this ship, the Fantasy was my favorite." I said, "But the longer I'm on the ship, the more I like this one more." I say, so as I get off the ship, and this was the last night, so literally we were seeing everybody that we saw the entire cruise because we went to the farewell party, right, when they were telling everybody goodbye. And I told him, I said, I actually would really, I think my next cruise will be, we're gonna get on the Treasure just because Haunted Mansion bar, right? You got to do that, but we're gonna get on the Wonder, and we're gonna just spend more time on these older ships. So did that and kind of hung out and went to the last party, and then we went upstairs, got some ice cream, some more soft serve.
And how many ice creams did you consume?
Oh man,
Quite a few.
gosh, man,
You didn't keep track.
I couldn't even keep track. I was
Well, basically, we had one almost every day, every night.
every night, then multiple during the day. The
Yeah.
people next to us got us. See, this is why I didn't get more. The people next to us at the table,
Got Mickey bars.
he got Mickey bars
every night.
and then his regular dessert. So I started getting the Mickey bar and dessert too, because he was like, "Man, you got to get the Mickey bar to cleanse your palate." So I'm Mickey barring it, and then like that night, one night we did room service. Literally we was sitting in the room and it was like 11:30, and my wife's like, "I think I'm kind of hungry." I was like, "Well, allow me to hit this button or some room service," and was like, "Give me that." So they were like, "Man, we get Mickey bars every night around midnight. Well, right before it ends, right? 11:50, they'll call and they'll send them up a Mickey bar." So, and John, room service is included as well, so you can
Awesome.
do all that as well. So yeah, man, if we just that kind of curved the number of ice creams, soft serves, because we started upping our Mickey bar intake.
Okay. That's fair. That's a good trade. You want balance between the two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like force, more balance.
That's awesome. It sounds like such a fun trip, and I definitely would love to get on a Disney Cruise Line cruise at some point, and I think most of our listeners would too. So it's good to hear about what the experience is like and how much fun you guys had. All right. Anything else you want to share about your trip or anything?
No, we didn't see a Kraken.
Oh, that's a bummer. Well, it's probably good. I mean, you wouldn't be here talking to us if you had, right?
I mean, he'd be my spirit animal, so he'd probably let me go. she'll be in trouble. But me, I'm good to go.
Why
Okay,
must
that's
the
fair.
always be sacrificed?
Yeah. It seems like a theme throughout the episode here, Lonnie. We have to dig into that a little bit. But
On the next episode, we'll dig into that.
yeah. Now what we're going to do, though, is make people giggle a little bit. So we're going to tell some jokes, and we'll see where this goes. So, Jeff, we might as well go with the worst first, and you can kick us off.
You know, I've been on a couple of Disney cruises and other cruises, and we like to play games as a family when we go on the cruises, but we've never been able to play cards. The captain's always standing on the deck.
All right. Gene?
So you guys were talking about that fantastic Italian restaurant. Did you hear about the Italian chef that unfortunately passed away?
No.
Yeah, he passed away. We can only do so much, and his legacy will become a pizza history. He ran out of time.
Oh, man. Cannoli. That's a good one. All right, Jody, what do you got for us?
So, have you guys heard about the latest trend in cruising? They're installing trampolines on the ships.
Really?
Now everybody's jumping on board.
Oh, geez. Lonnie, what do you
got? So why did the jaguar eat the tightrope walker? He was craving a well-balanced meal.
Oh boy. All right, Ire, you got a joke for us?
What's a knight's favorite fish?
I don't know. What?
A swordfish.
Swordfish. Yep. I just got it.
Oh man.
I like to take this time to thank Jeff for joining. We usually don't see Jeff that often, especially for a trip report, but it really meant a lot to me that he showed up for mine. So thank you, Jeff.
I think the last 3 episodes I've been on have all been trip reports.
Oh, wow.
No, because were you on last week?
No, I couldn't make last week.
Oh, so yeah, maybe it was. Okay.
Yeah, the last 3 have all been trip reports. I'm branching out.
You are, man. You're embracing other things.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up, man. Appreciate it.
You're learning about going on a boat. I mean, it sounds fun. Speaking of like going on a ship, I recently had my first cruise over the summer, and I was very nervous to get on it. So I asked the captain when I got on, like, do ships like this sink very often? And he said, no, usually just once.
I read that same joke, John.
I mean, there's only so many websites that are specific to cruise dad jokes, right?
Yep. Saw that same one.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening tonight. Thank you, Ire, for joining us to talk about your trip and give our listeners some insight into what it's like to go on a Disney cruise. We just want to ask everybody again, please go out, give us 5-star reviews, and just give us share us with your friends. Come over to the Disney with the Ducks Facebook page, send your favorite episode off to your friends. All of that helps us grow and bring more people into the community. But before we sign off for the night, I think we probably need some disclaimers on some of the things that were said this evening, just to keep us out of legal trouble.
The Disney with the Ducks podcast episode you just enjoyed was hosted by Jody, John, Jeff, Gene, and Lonnie, with a guest appearance from the undeniably superior half of the Lonnie Ire duo, Ire. Results may vary, but it's widely acknowledged that without Ire, this episode would have been about 65% less insightful, 80% less organized, and 100% less classy. Side effects of this episode may include uncontrollable laughter, a newfound urge to book a Disney cruise, or an impulsive need to join the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party festivities. Symptoms of Disney-induced wanderlust may intensify when paired with Ire's eloquent trip recap or Lonnie's less eloquent attempts to shine in her presence. Listeners are advised to take note that any resemblance between Lonnie's jokes and actual humor is purely coincidental. Gene, as usual, served as the emotional anchor of the podcast, while Jody and Jeff kept things on track, with John chiming in to add just the right amount of chaos. For best results, consume this podcast in a festive sweater with a mug of hot cocoa, and don't forget to laugh along, even when the quacking up at the ducks at the end of the episode make you groan audibly. Warning, listening may cause you to plan a spur-of-the-moment holiday trip to Disney World or impulsively call your travel agent for cruise dates. Disney with the Ducks is not responsible for overspending on Mickey waffle churros, or decorating your entire home in Christmas lights just to feel the magic. If you experience prolonged grumpiness after this episode, it might be time to plan your next Disney adventure. And remember, all Disney tips, opinions, and hilarity shared on this show are best enjoyed with a healthy dose of pixie dust and your favorite Disney-loving crew. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep laughing, and keep quacking along.
All right, Quaharini, everyone.
Release the Kraken.
Bye,
Later. Do you think I know how to connect my phone to my computer? I mean, come on.
Not me. Nobody's
I can't work Genie Plus. What are you talking about?